Hi guys, this is Miss Pruitt and I am bringing you a video so that you don't miss me too much when I am not there at school today. We're going to finish up our notes that we started today, or excuse me, that we started yesterday on polynomial log and synthetic division. So let's get started. Make sure you're taking notes. So the third problem that I wanted to show you was this problem here. It's f of x equals 4x to the fourth power minus 2x cubed minus 3x minus 9. And we're going to try to divide it by 2x minus 3. So, first thing first, go ahead and set up your division. So I'm going to put 2x minus 3 as my divisor. And I'm going to put the polynomial that I'm trying to divide underneath my division sign. Alright, so we're starting with 4x to the fourth power. The next term that is expected is a cube. We go down by the exponent. So if I'm starting with 4, I better have a term with the exponent of 3, then an exponent of 2, then an exponent of 1, and then an exponent of none. So I'm starting off with 4x to the fourth power. It's expecting x to the third power. So I'm going to put minus 2x cubed because I do have a value that, a term that has x cubed in it. What about x squared? When I'm looking up here at the top, I do not have a term that has an x squared, but I need a placeholder for it. So I'm going to put plus 0x squared. Because 0 times anything is 0 anyway. Alright, next it's expecting a term of just x to the 1 power, and I do have something there that's just x to the 1 power, and that's just negative 3x. And of course, it's looking for a constant, and my constant here in this problem is minus 9. So now that we have everything set up, I am ready to start dividing. So first things first, you look to see what can you multiply 2x by to get 4x to the fourth power? Well, if I multiply 2x cubed, I would be able to get 4x to the fourth power. So you only look at the first terms to determine what you're going to divide by. Or what you're going to multiply by, excuse me. So, go ahead and now distribute. I'm going to do 2x cubed times 2x. Well, 2x cubed times 2x is going to be 4x to the fourth power. Then you distribute to the next term. 2x cubed times negative 3 is going to be negative 6x cubed. But because we are subtracting, you change the signs of both. And then you go ahead and then combine the top of the bottom. So if I have 4x to the fourth minus 4x to the fourth, that's just going to be 0, cancel out. Then I have negative 2x cubed plus 6x cubed. That is simply going to be 4x cubed. Then you drop down either all the terms or just the next term. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing again, looking at the first two terms. What will I need to multiply 2x by in order to get 4x cubed? And I would have to multiply by 2x squared. So I'm going to put plus 2x squared right up here. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did in the line before. I am going to multiply, or I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to do 2x squared times 2x, which of course gives me my 4x cubed. Actually, let's go back a little bit. My 4x cubed. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing again. 2x squared times negative 3. I would get negative 6x squared. But because we are subtracting, I need to switch the signs of both of these. and then combine the top and the bottom. So 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is just 0. And then 0x squared plus 6x squared is going to be 6x squared. Bring down the next term. Or all the terms if you choose. And we're going to do it again. What do I need to multiply 2x by in order to get 6x squared? I'm going to have to multiply by 3x. Distribute. 3x times 2x is going to be 6x squared. 3x times negative 3 is going to be minus 9x. However, because we're subtracting, we need to flip the signs. 6x squared minus 6x squared is just 0. So then I have negative 3x plus 9x, Well, negative 3x plus 9x is simply 6x. And I'm going to bring down my 9. Let's do this again. How many times, or what will I have to multiply 2x by in order to get 6x? And of course, it is 3. So I distribute 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. But because I'm subtracting, I'm going to switch the signs. And I have a remainder of 0. At this point, I have proven, because I have a remainder of 0, that a way that I can factor this, the original problem, is 2x minus 3 times 2x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 3. But because I have 4 terms, I think that I might be able to factor this thing even more. There's nothing that can steal from all 4 terms. And the 4 terms I'm talking about are these 4 terms. So I'm going to put parentheses around these 2 dudes. And I'm going to put parentheses around these 2 dudes. This is just how we do it in class. So then, bringing everything down, this is still 2x minus 3. Yes, I'm expecting you guys to be able to do this. Then you look at the first set of parentheses right here. What is the greatest common factor? What is something that I can take or steal from both? Well, I can take out a 2x squared from both. If I pulled out a 2x squared, that will leave me with x plus 1 on the inside of my parentheses. Let's do the same thing with the second set of parentheses. What's the greatest common factor? Or what's the highest factor that I can take from both? Well, I could take out a positive 3. So if I divided both terms by 3, it would leave me with x plus 1 inside of my parentheses. Remember, if you get the same thing, then you did it absolutely correct. So what I'm going to do is factor out. I'm going to factor out the x plus 1. So let's bring it down again. So I know my 2x minus 3 is a factor. I'm going to pull out the factor x plus 1 from these 2 terms. And the 2 terms I'm talking about is this term and this term. They both have a factor of x plus 1, a greatest common factor of x plus 1. So I'm going to pull that factor out. And what will be left is this term and that term. Oops. So it will be 2x squared plus 3. And since I cannot factor any further, that will be my final answer. Alright, you guys. So there is a way to solve this using the synthetic division method that I showed you earlier today. So first things first, you're going to have to get this x by itself or determine what your 0 is. So what you do is you set your 2x minus 3 equal to 0. To solve for x, I would add 3 to both sides, which would give me 2x equals 3. My next step to try to get the x by itself is divide both sides by 2. So in this case, my 0 is going to be 3/2 or 1.5. So let's set up our synthetic division. First things first, draw your box, draw your line, and make your long T. Your 0 that you just found always goes up here in the box. And your coefficients from the original function always come next. Remember, since we're starting with x to the 4th power, the problem is expecting for you to have a coefficient for x to the 4th, then x cubed, then x squared, then an x to the 1 power, and then a constant. So, my coefficient for x to the 4th is 4. My coefficient for x cubed is -2. My coefficient for x squared is going to be 0 because I do not have an x squared term. My coefficient for x to the 1 power is -3. And my coefficient, my constant term is just -9. So just as we did earlier today, let's solve the same exact problem, but using synthetic division. So first thing first, drop down the very first number. So I just bring 4 down. And yes, you can use a calculator for this one because we're dealing with a decimal. So just like normal, we'll do 1.5 times 4. 1.5 times 4 is 6. So I put my 6 right here. Then you add these two together. Well, -2 plus 6 is +4. And then we do it again. 1.5 times 4 is 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. 1.5 times 6 is 9. -3 plus 9 is 6. 1.5 times 6 is 9. And -9 plus 9 is 0. Now, here's the thing. Because we use, synthetic division, usually, we don't have to normally deal with this, a 0.5 or a decimal or dividing by 2. But because of this dude right here, I'm going to have to multiply all of my terms here by that decimal. I know, it gets a little confusing. If you want to just stick to the long division, by all means, stick to it. So, if I multiplied 4 times 0.5, I would get 2. 4 times 0.5 is 2, 6 times 0.5 is 3, and 6 times 0.5 is 3. Now, I do have my coefficients that I need for my new term. So, since I started off with x to the 4th power, I would go down by 1. So this would be my coefficient for x cubed. This will be my coefficient for x squared, for x, and just my constant number. And this is how I can get the same thing that I got from the first half of the problem, which is 2x cubed plus 2x squared plus x plus 3. And again, I put my original term at the top, in the front. You can always rewind back to see how to factor this again using factoring by grouping. But your final answer should be exactly the same. The answer is f of x equals 2x minus 3. I'm running out of room, sorry. Times x plus 1 times 2x squared plus 3. And that's it.